everyone, I'm Sarah of Rich Textures Crochet and welcome. Today we're going to be learning how to crochet the Drew Beanie. Welcome, this is week 4 of the 2024 Wonderful Hats Crochet Along, and this is our 4th beanie pattern. If this is your first time hearing about the crochet along, all month long we have been crocheting wonderful crochet hats as well as their matching accessories, scarves and mittens, and this is the 4th one. So if you check out the Wonderful Hats Crochet Along playlist here on my channel, you'll find all of the other patterns including in this year's crochet along in that playlist. Today our beanie is a wonderfully textured beanie. The texture in the hat is created using front post double crochet and back post double crochet stitches. The hat is sized to fit an adult head with a 20 to a 22 inch circumference. I'll give you some instruction later on in the video on how to adjust that size. It's worked from the brim up to the top, all as one piece. The hat can be worn with a pom-pom, as is shown here, or without. Both options are absolutely wonderful. Today for the tutorial you're going to need a little bit of a worsted weight or a medium weight yarn, so look for that 4 on the label. I'm using the Woolies by Lion Brand. It's an acrylic wool blend, about 197 yards per ball. Going to need 1, maybe 1 1/4, depending on whether or not you're working a yarn pom-pom or not. You're also going to want a 5mm or an H8 crochet hook. Down in the description of the video, you'll find a direct link to the free written instructions for this pattern, which are on my website at richtexturescrochet.com. So thank you so much for joining me. While you're here, I invite you to subscribe, take a look around. This channel is updated every single week with free crochet patterns and stitch tutorials. Now, I mentioned before that our hat today is worked from the brim up to the top. So we're going to start by taking our yarn and making a slip knot. You're then going to work a foundation chain for the brim, which is worked in rows of 10 chain stitches. If you'd like to change the thickness of your brim, you may chain more or less stitches. Once you have that foundation chain worked, you're going to begin row 1 by working a slip stitch into the 2nd chain from your hook, and then slip stitch into each stitch all the way across. If you would prefer for your brim, you may work single crochet or half double crochet. It's really up to you. I just love how tight the stitches are in a slip stitch brim. It really helps the brim to keep its shape and give it a little bit more spring. You will have a total of 9 stitches at the end of your row 1. You're going to chain 1 and turn your work. Now for row 2, we're going to continue working slip stitches, but this time in the back loop only. To find your back loop only, looking at the top of your stitch, you'll see 2 loops, one that is closest to you, one that is furthest away. This one that is furthest away is your back loop only. Do not count your turning chain, but slip stitch into the back loop only of that first stitch, and then slip stitch into the back loop only of each stitch all the way across. Again, at the end of this row, you'll continue to have a total of 9 stitches. At the end of row 2, chain 1 and turn your work. Now for rows 3 onward, you are going to continue to repeat row 2. So working in your back loop only, slip stitch into that first stitch, and in each stitch across, chain 1, turn your work, and repeat. You're going to continue to repeat row 2 until your work from the beginning measures approximately 16 to 17 inches, and that is while it is laid flat. If you stretch it out, it's going to stretch and fit comfortably around an adult head with a 20 to 22 inch circumference. So I work about 16 to 17 inches, and then you can meet me back here if you want to change the size. Again, feel free to change the size and work to the desired circumference. Once you have worked your 16 to 17 inches, this is what your band looks like. Again, this is not stretched, so when you stretch out your brim, it has quite a bit of stretch and give to it. Once you've worked the circumference, you're going to chain one, don't fasten off, just chain one, and take your two short ends, being careful not to twist them. You're going to place them one over top of the other. We're now going to slip stitch across to form the seam. So working in the back loops only, again, you're going to go through one side, reach across to the other side, and slip stitch into those back loops only, and you're going to slip stitch in each stitch through both thicknesses all the way across. Again, you will have 9 slip stitches. Once you come all the way across, chain one, do not fasten off, and turn your brim so that it is right side out. That seam should now be on the inside of your hat. We're now going to move on to the hat body. We're going to be working around this rough edge of our brim. And for round one of the hat body, you're going to evenly work 72 half double crochet stitches all the way around. You want these stitches to be spread out fairly evenly so that there's no bunching in your hat. If you would like to change the size of your hat, you're going to need a multiple of 4 stitches for this first round. For the adult size, we're going to go ahead and chain work 72 half double crochet stitches. Once you come all the way around at the end of round 1, you're going to join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. Do not turn your work here or throughout. You'll always continue working in the same direction. For rounds 2 and 3, the next 2 rounds, you're going to chain 1, and working in the 3rd loop all the way around, work a half double crochet in each stitch. To find your 3rd loop, if you look at your half double crochet stitch down below, you have the loops up top, which are your front loop and your back loop. If you turn it over and look at the back of your half double crochet stitch, you'll see a loop running just under your back loop. This is your 3rd loop, so you're going to insert your hook under that 3rd loop only. Working under the 3rd loop only, half double crochet in the 3rd loop of that same stitch is joining, and then into each stitch all the way around. And you will see as you work in your 3rd loop that it will push the tops of your half double crochet stitches forward, creating this ridge of texture that runs along the top of your fabric. So go ahead and working in the 3rd loop only, half double crochet in each stitch all the way around. When you come back to your first stitch, you're going to join with the slip stitch into the top of the first stitch, and you're going to do this for round 2 and 3. Then meet me back here. At the end of round 3, this is what your hat looks like. You'll have joined with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. You've worked 2 rounds of half double crochet stitches in your third loop. Now for round 4, we're going to begin by chaining 1. We're going to be working some of that front and back post double crochet texture. To begin, you're going to work a front post double crochet in each of the first 2 stitches. To work your front post double crochet, yarn over, bring your hook in front of your work and insert your hook from the front around back of the post and out through the front again of that first stitch. When I'm working around this first stitch, I'm also including that chain 1 stitch at the beginning of each round. Yarn over, draw up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2 more. You're going to do the same around the post of the next stitch. Yarn over, bring your hook in front of your work and insert your hook from front around back of the post and out through the front again of the next stitch. Yarn over, draw up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2 more. You're then going to work a back post double crochet around the posts of each of the next 2 stitches. To work your back post double crochet, yarn over, bring your hook in back of your work and insert your hook from the back around the front of the post of the next stitch and out through the back again. Yarn over, draw up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2 more. You're going to repeat that again around the post of the next stitch. Yarn over, bring your hook in back of your work and insert your hook from the back around front and out through the back again around the post of the next stitch. Yarn over, draw up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2 more. You're going to repeat this all the way around. Work a back post double crochet around the posts of each of the next 2 stitches, and then work a front post double crochet, and then work a back post double crochet around the posts of each of the next 2 stitches. You're going to repeat this all the way around, 2 front post double crochets, 2 back post double crochets until you come back to that first stitch. You're going to finish off this round by working the 2 back post double crochets. At the end of your round 4, you'll have finished off with 2 back post double crochets, joined with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. Now for round 5, continue working in the same direction and chain 1. You're going to begin round 5 by working a back post double crochet around the posts of each of the first 2 stitches. You're then going to work a front post double crochet around the posts of each of the next 2 stitches. You're going to repeat this all the way around. Work a back post double crochet around the posts of each of the next 2 stitches, and a front post double crochet around the post of each of the next 2 stitches. Essentially, you are working back post double crochets around the post of each of the front post stitches down below, and then front post double crochets around the posts of each of the back post stitches down below. So you're just working your stitches opposite. You're going to continue this all the way around until you come to that first stitch, then join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. At the end of round 5, join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch and chain 1. Now for round 6, we're simply going to work a half double crochet into that same stitch as joining. We're just working into the tops of our stitches, and half double crochet into each stitch all the way around. When you come to your first stitch, join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. At the end of round 6, join with a slip stitch into the top of the first stitch. We've now reached the end of the portion that we will be repeating throughout the body of the beanie. So what we're going to do now for rounds 7 through to round 20, you're going to repeat your rounds 2 through to 6 twice more. So that started with your half double crochet in the third loop all the way up to what we just worked with our round of half double crochet. Repeat those steps, rounds 2 to 6, twice more. You're then going to repeat rounds 2 through to 5 once more after that. So you're going to have a total of 4 of these front and back post double crochet pieces in your hat. You're going to finish off on that round 5, which was your back post double crochet and your front post double crochet, and then meet me back here at the end of your round 20, and we will start to close the top of our hat. At the end of round 20, this is what your work looks like from the beginning. You'll have 4 kind of stripes of that front and back post double crochet texture. You'll have ended off on a repeat of round 5. We're now going to start the decrease in the top of our hat. So for round 21, you're going to chain 1. You're then going to work a half double crochet into each of the next 6 stitches, beginning with that seam stitches joining. You're then going to work a half double crochet 2 together. To work the half double crochet 2 together, you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over and drop a loop. Insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, draw up a loop. You'll have 4 loops on your hook, yarn over and draw through all 4 loops. That's your half double crochet 2 together. You're then going to repeat that all the way around. Half double crochet into each of the next 6 stitches. And half double crochet 2 stitches together. Repeat that all the way around until you come to your first stitch, then join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. At the end of round 21, you'll join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. You'll have a total of 63 stitches. Now for round 22, we're going to chain 1, and once again we're going to work in that third loop only, so at the back of your half double crochet stitch. You're going to work a half double crochet into each of the first 5 stitches. Always working in that third loop. You're then going to work a half double crochet 2 together, again working in the third loop of each of the next 2 stitches. Repeat that all the way around, half double crochet into each of the next 5 stitches. And half double crochet 2 stitches together. Repeat that all the way around until you come to your first stitch. When you come to that first stitch, join with a slip stitch into the top. At the end of round 22, join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. At the end of this round, you'll have a total of 54 stitches. For round 23, chain 1, working in the third loop all the way around. We're going to work a half double crochet into each of the next 4 stitches. You're then going to work a half double crochet 2 together. Repeat that half double crochet in the third loop of each of the next 4 stitches, and half double crochet 2 stitches together. Repeat that all the way around until you come to your first stitch. Join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. At the end of round 23, you will have a total of 45 stitches. For round 24, chain 1, working in that third loop all the way around, work a half double crochet into each of the first 3 stitches. Next, work a half double crochet 2 stitches together. We're now going to repeat that. Continue working in your third loop all the way around, half double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches, and half double crochet 2 stitches together. All the way around until you come to that first stitch. When you come to the first stitch, join with a slip stitch into the top. At the end of round 24, you'll have a total of 36 stitches. For round 25, chain 1. Working in that third loop all the way around, you're going to work a half double crochet into each of the first 2 stitches. Next, work a half double crochet 2 stitches together. Repeat this all the way around, half double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, working in the third loop, and half double crochet 2 stitches together, all the way around until you come to your first stitch. When you come to your first stitch, join with a slip stitch into the top. At the end of this round, you're going to have a total of 27 stitches. For round 26, we're going to chain 1, continue working in the third loop. The top of your hat should be decreasing nicely. For round 26, we're going to work a half double crochet in the third loop of that first stitch, and then half double crochet 2 stitches together. Repeat that all the way around, half double crochet into the next stitch, and half double crochet 2 stitches together, all the way around until you come to that first stitch. When you come to the first stitch, you're going to join with a slip stitch into the top of the first stitch, and you're going to have a total of 18 stitches. I'm just going to keep continuing around as I'm almost finished this round 26. Once you come all the way around, join with a slip stitch into the top of that first stitch. Now we have one final round to work. For round 27, we're going to chain 1, and we're simply going to work in the tops of our stitches now all the way around, and you're going to work a double crochet 2 stitches together all the way around. So to work our double crochet 2 together, you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over and drop a loop. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops. You're going to do that in the next stitch. Yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over and drop a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. You'll have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. That's your double crochet 2 together. We're going to do that all the way around. So double crochet 2 together over the next 2 stitches, and so forth all the way around the top of your beanie. At the end of this round, you're going to have a total of 9 stitches. Once you come all the way around, you're going to join with a slip stitch into the top of that first stitch. You're then going to fasten off, leaving a little bit of a long tail. You're then going to use that long tail to sew the top of your hat closed. So take your yarn needle, simply thread the long tail through. I like to do this part while the hat's inside out, so I'm just going to stick my thread through and pull it so that the inside of my hat, the top of my hat, is now showing. Then to sew the top closed, I simply weave my needle in and out through the top loops in that final round of double crochet 2 togethers all the way around until I come back to that first stitch. When you come back, you're simply going to pull the top of the hat closed and then secure. Then, depending on what you are adding to the top or not, you may want to use that long tail to attach a pom-pom or another accessory, or you can simply weave that tail in and tuck it in. Fasten off any other loose tails that you might have on the inside of your hat. Turn your hat right side out, and that is how you work your Drew beanie. So thank you so much for joining me. Once again, while you're here, I invite you to subscribe, take a look around, hang tight. The matching accessory pattern, which are the Drew mittens, will be coming soon if they're not out already. And be sure to check out some of the other hats and accessories here on my channel. If you happen to make one and post it on social media, be sure to tag Rich Textures Crochet. I always love to come by and admire your work. Until next time, happy crocheting. Bye.